Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. You know that feeling when you catch yourself in the mirror, not just looking at your face but feeling your energy, and you wonder quietly, do others see me the way I hope they do? Maybe you sense eyes following you sometimes, or people lean in a little closer when you speak, but you brush it off, almost doubting your own presence. And yet that flicker of curiosity lingers. The truth is, being hot and attractive isn't just about symmetry or youth, it's about something deeper, a quiet magnetism, a confidence that whispers rather than shouts, and a way of carrying yourself that makes people want to know your story. That's what we're going to explore today, because there are very real, subtle signs that you, perhaps without realizing, are radiating that energy that draws others in. Whether it's in dating, love, romance, or simply everyday life, these signs reveal that your appeal isn't just skin deep, it's something in the way you exist in the world. In this video, we're going to walk together, almost like an intimate conversation between friends, through some of these hidden signals, the ones that go beyond what you see in beauty magazines or Instagram feeds. And by the way, this isn't just about external validation or the male gaze. This is about feminine allure, sensuality, the grace of emotional presence, and what really makes a woman captivating and desirable. So let's lean into this conversation, softly but honestly. One of the first signs that reveal your allure is the way others respond when you enter a space. Without even speaking, you seem to generate attention. It's not about loudness or bold colors or exaggerated gestures. It's about an unspoken elegance that makes people pause. You'll notice that in restaurants, at work, even walking down the street, there's a subtle shift. Heads turn, glances linger, people seem to make space for you. This isn't just coincidence. Your body language speaks before your voice does. Shoulders relaxed but upright, chin slightly lifted, a gaze that is soft but direct. These are the postures of self-assured women who are deeply comfortable in their own skin. And there's something almost poetic about this comfort. It's not arrogance, it's presence. You don't shrink, but you don't perform either. This balance is deeply attractive because it signals to the world that you belong wherever you are, and that magnetism is irresistible. This is why so many relationship coaches and love advisors talk about body language as a key indicator of attractiveness. It's one of the most Googled topics for a reason. High-value men especially pick up on this intuitive confidence. It tells them you are not seeking approval, you already approve of yourself. Then there's the way your energy affects others. You may find that people often confide in you, seek your advice, or simply feel calmer in your presence. Attractive women often create a sense of emotional safety, not because they are passive or overly nurturing, but because they're grounded. In the language of Stoicism, this is called equanimity, an evenness of mind, an ability to hold space for emotions without being consumed by them. When you show this calm, curious attention, when you are fully present, you become magnetic in a way that no makeup or hairstyle can replicate. It's fascinating how this plays out in romantic settings too. Men may lean forward when you speak, unconsciously mirroring your tone and tempo, wanting to sync with your rhythm. They'll often tease or test, trying to see if they can knock you off your center. And when you respond with a smile, or better yet, with an elegantly timed pause, you convey that you're unshaken. This subtle psychological dynamic is powerful. It's one of the reasons why How to Attract a High-Value Man and Signs a Woman is Irresistible are such high search topics in the US dating advice world right now. Another sign, and this may surprise you, is how you take care of yourself, not just physically but emotionally. When you respect your own time, protect your peace, and walk away from situations that disturb your balance, people notice. You may think no one sees those choices, but they do. Your boundaries are attractive because they show you know your worth. High-value men in particular are drawn to women whose self-care extends beyond skincare routines into emotional hygiene. the refusal to gossip, to be drawn into drama, or to give your energy where it's not reciprocated. Even in your romantic relationships, this shows. You don't chase, you attract. You don't force connections, you allow them to unfold, and that spaciousness is compelling because it suggests confidence and maturity. You signal without words that you know how to walk away, and paradoxically, that makes people want to come closer. As you sit with these reflections, remember this: attractiveness is not a competition, it's an energy. It's in the grace of your movement, the kindness of your gaze, the warmth of your voice, and the steadiness of your emotional landscape. You are attractive when you are deeply connected to yourself first. That is where your power begins. Now that we've touched on this idea of presence and energy, let's gently continue our conversation, because there are deeper layers of allure that go far beyond posture and confidence. It's easy to assume that attraction lies on the surface, in the curve of a smile, the way your hair frames your face, or the sparkle of jewelry that catches the light. But the truth runs deeper. The next layer of your magnetism is found in your ability to listen and truly hear people. Think about it. When you're in conversation, are you waiting for your turn to speak, or do you allow yourself to sink into the other person's words, giving them the gift of your undivided presence? There's something profoundly captivating about a woman who listens not just with her ears, but with her whole being. Her eyes meet yours without darting around the room, her expression soft but engaged. This is a rare trait in a world distracted by notifications, endless scrolling, and shallow exchanges. And people feel it immediately. Your attentiveness makes them feel important, seen, and even cherished. It's why some of the most sought-after women aren't necessarily loud or flamboyant. They're the ones who know how to cultivate intimacy in small, quiet ways. Attraction also radiates from the way you speak, not just what you say. Your voice itself is a tool of allure, the cadence, the warmth, the pauses between your words. When you speak slowly, thoughtfully, without rushing, you create a rhythm that invites closeness. Hi, Val, you men particularly are sensitive to this. They're looking for women whose energy calms them, whose voices soothe their nervous system. A voice that sounds like a soft place to land at the end of a long day. And even more alluring is when your words reflect self-possession, a quiet confidence rooted in self-awareness. You might express your opinions firmly but without aggression, ask thoughtful questions without interrogating, or decline invitations with grace. In all these interactions, you communicate that your time and energy are valuable. This subtle but powerful messaging elevates your presence from simply pretty to deeply attractive. Then there's your sense of playfulness. A woman who can laugh easily, who knows how to tease gently without cruelty, who can navigate life's absurdities with a glint in her eye. That woman lights up a room. Your light-heartedness suggests a flexible, open heart, and it makes people want to be near you because your joy is contagious. This trait is often overlooked, yet when you reflect on the most attractive women you've met, you'll notice how their laughter lingers long after they leave the room. But this isn't the laughter of performance or attention-seeking. It's laughter that bubbles up from a place of genuine ease with oneself and the world. Even in romantic dynamics, this playfulness serves as an aphrodisiac. It softens tension, invites intimacy, and keeps interactions feeling fresh and alive. In all of these qualities, the attentiveness, the grace in speech, the capacity for joy, you're sending signals that you are emotionally mature. Emotional maturity is an underrated but magnetic quality because it shows you can hold complexity. Joy and sorrow, excitement and fear, love and loss, all without crumbling. Hi, Val, you men in particular crave this in a partner. When they sense you can navigate your emotions with steadiness, they feel safer to approach you with authenticity, knowing you won't be destabilized by life's inevitable turbulence. This steadiness also shows up in your relationship with your appearance. You don't obsess, you curate. You select clothes that reflect your essence rather than chasing trends. You wear makeup that highlights rather than masks. Your attractiveness feels effortless because it is. It's a reflection of your alignment with who you are, not an attempt to copy someone else's version of beauty. This authenticity makes you stand out because, in a world addicted to comparison, you offer originality. Even your movements reflect this. When you walk into a room, there's a deliberate, fluid grace in your stride. You're not rushing or hunched over a phone, you're moving as though you belong wherever you are, and people notice. They may not be able to articulate exactly what it is that draws them in, but it's this, an embodiment of self-trust, an ease with yourself that translates into an ease with life. All of these signs weave together to form a tapestry of attraction that transcends fleeting standards of beauty. Your allure lives in your gestures, your gaze, your laughter, your words, and most of all in your relationship to yourself. As we continue this exploration together, there's even more to uncover about the subtle, profound ways you may already be radiating this magnetic energy. The signs go far beyond what anyone could capture in a checklist, and they speak to the kind of woman who knows her value instinctively. You may not realize it, but one of the most attractive qualities you possess is how you handle attention itself. There's a quiet elegance in a woman who receives compliments with grace, not deflection. When someone says, "You look beautiful today," the woman who smiles gently and simply says, "Thank you," without minimizing herself or offering disclaimers, that's a woman who knows her worth. This comfort with being seen is rare and magnetic. It speaks volumes about your relationship with your own beauty, both inner and outer. You're not desperate for validation, nor do you shrink from acknowledgement. Instead, you receive it as a natural expression of your presence in the world. And when you handle compliments in this way, you give others permission to honor you while also modeling self-respect. Another layer of your allure lies in the way you express sensuality, not as an act, but as an undercurrent that weaves through your presence. Sensuality is so often misunderstood as merely sexual, but in truth, it's about your connection to the sensory world around you. How you savor the taste of your coffee, how your fingers graze the fabric of your dress as you adjust it, how your voice softens when you describe something beautiful. All of these subtle gestures communicate a woman who is deeply embodied, fully alive. This lived-in sensuality fascinates men, and not only men but anyone in your orbit, because it suggests that you are tuned in, attentive, awake to life's textures and details. The way you hold a wine glass, how you close your eyes for just a moment when enjoying a favorite song, how you linger slightly in a conversation. All these micro moments form the tapestry of your attractiveness, and you may have noticed how people unconsciously lean closer, trying to soak in a little more of that atmosphere you create. Even the way you handle silence is revealing. A woman who is comfortable with pauses, who doesn't rush to fill every quiet space, exudes a self-contained power that speaks louder than words. In a society often addicted to noise, this comfort with silence is striking. It signals confidence and emotional composure, qualities that you men and emotionally mature partners find irresistible. This comfort with silence also speaks to your boundaries. You don't perform for approval. You don't force stories to entertain. You know that your presence itself is enough. When you allow pauses, when you hold eye contact without fidgeting, when you simply sit with your own thoughts and invite others to meet you there, that's a deep kind of allure that many women overlook. Yet it is among the most captivating qualities of all, and it goes hand in hand with your emotional independence. When you carry yourself in a way that shows you are whole and complete, when your happiness is not dependent on who does or doesn't text back, or who notices your new outfit, you radiate a freedom that is deeply attractive. You are magnetic precisely because you are self-sufficient, and paradoxically, that self-sufficiency makes people want to attach themselves to your world. What's beautiful here is that emotional independence does not mean being cold or distant. It's about knowing that your joy, peace, and identity come from within. When you give from that place, your relationships feel like gifts, not transactions. Men sense this energetically and gravitate toward it. It's why some women, even without conventional beauty, seem to effortlessly attract partners who cherish and adore them. It's also why so many dating advice searches in the USA today revolve around phrases like signs of a hive, you woman, and how to attract emotionally healthy men, because people recognize that true attraction is no longer simply about looks, it's about emotional presence, resilience, and grace. And speaking of grace, there is one more subtle quality that reveals you're a hot and attractive woman: your ability to forgive, but not forget yourself. You've probably learned, maybe through heartbreaks, disappointments, or difficult lessons, that forgiveness is not about excusing behavior or abandoning your standards. It's about releasing resentment so you can stay light, stay fluid, stay open. An attractive woman is not hardened by her past. Instead, she allows her experiences to soften her edges while sharpening her discernment. This balance between softness and strength is incredibly appealing because it suggests that you can love without losing yourself, and that you can trust without being naive. It's a trait that shows up in the way you talk about former relationships, your ability to wish others well without bitterness, and your refusal to dwell in victimhood. Every one of these qualities, grace in receiving attention, embodied sensuality, comfort with silence, emotional independence, and elegant forgiveness, builds a portrait of a woman who knows herself deeply and lives in alignment with that knowledge. And that is the essence of true attractiveness, not perfection, but presence. Let's continue walking together on this journey of reflection because, as you may already sense, your attractiveness isn't something you need to create. It's something you're already expressing in ways you may not have noticed if you listen closely to how people describe women they find irresistible. You'll notice they speak less about physical attributes and more about how those women make them feel. This feeling is often subtle and almost impossible for them to explain in words, but it's powerful. It's the way your presence lingers in their mind, the way your scent, your smile, or even your absence creates space for longing. Another quiet but unmistakable sign you are a hot and attractive woman is that people often feel inspired around you, not just attracted, but uplifted. You may find that others open up their ambitions, dreams, and plans when they talk to you, and they walk away from conversations with you feeling somehow more motivated, clearer, or at peace. This is not coincidence. It's because your very energy creates a sanctuary for authenticity. Your attractiveness, then, is not just visual or physical, it's emotional architecture. You're building an atmosphere wherever you go, one in which people feel they can be themselves without shame or performance. You don't compete for attention, you offer attention. You don't take energy, you give it generously, but without sacrificing yourself. This emotional generosity is subtle but deeply attractive, especially to men seeking meaningful connections. Hi, Val, you men in particular notice when a woman listens without judgment, encourages without pushing, and believes in their potential without needing to control the outcome. This combination is rare and precious. It's what dating coaches describe when they talk about the elusive feminine presence or feminine energy that so many women today are seeking to reclaim, not as an act, but as an authentic way of being. Another quality that radiates quiet power is when you maintain your dignity in the face of disappointment. Life will test you, and relationships will sometimes wound you. But how you respond to these tests reveals everything about your deeper attractiveness. You may feel sadness, even heartbreak, but you carry that pain with grace, refusing to let it define you or dim your warmth. This kind of emotional composure is why phrases like "how to be a hive," "You woman after heartbreak" are among the most searched dating queries in the USA right now. People are realizing that resilience is magnetic. When a woman doesn't spiral, lash out, or crumble when things don't go her way, but instead takes time to heal quietly, maintains her softness, and continues to treat herself as valuable, that sends a clear message to the world. Her worth is intrinsic, not contingent on any relationship or outcome, and this dignified resilience shows up even in your choices. You may decline invitations that don't feel aligned, not out of arrogance but from a place of self-respect. You're selective, not because you think you're better than others, but because you understand your time, your energy, and your heart are precious resources to be shared wisely. This selectiveness is profoundly attractive. Hi Val, you men instinctively recognize it as a sign of a woman who cannot be easily swayed or seduced by mere attention. Instead, she responds only to those who meet her standards, who show consistency, depth, and integrity. And far from making you seem hard to get, in a manipulative sense, it makes you appear secure and self-contained. Even your sense of humor plays a role in your allure. It's not about telling jokes or being loud, it's about your ability to laugh at life, to find beauty in the absurdities, and to keep a light touch even when things are messy or imperfect. This humor is a sign of perspective, of knowing that life is not always serious, that beauty can be found in small moments, and that joy is a choice we can make daily. People are drawn to that lightness, to a woman who can hold seriousness and silliness in the same breath, who can enjoy a conversation about something profound and then laugh easily when something silly happens. This balance is captivating because it suggests you have room for all of life's contradictions without needing to resolve them immediately. In all these ways, your emotional generosity, your dignified resilience, your quiet selectiveness, and your balanced sense of humor, you are offering a deeply attractive energy. An energy that tells the world you know yourself, respect yourself, and cherish your own company enough that anyone who enters your world must rise to meet you there. And there's something else worth noting. When you are this kind of woman, you don't need to compete with others. You understand that your attractiveness isn't diminished by another woman's beauty or success. In fact, you celebrate the radiance of other women because you know that true attractiveness is abundant, not scarce. This abundance mindset is rare and incredibly appealing. It frees you from the comparison trap and allows you to shine without insecurity. Men notice this too. A woman who is confident enough to admire, support, and uplift other women without feeling threatened signals emotional security at the deepest level. Your attractiveness, then, is multidimensional. It lives in your appearance, yes, but far more in your self-trust, your emotional grace, your selective generosity, and your ability to bring lightness into every space you enter. And the beautiful thing is this, you don't have to strive to create this energy. You're already expressing it in quiet ways every day. All that's required is to become aware of it, to honor it, and to embody it even more consciously. Attractiveness is so often reduced to fleeting images. A perfectly posed selfie, a curated outfit, a well-lit smile. But beyond all of that, your allure resides in something far more lasting, how you move through the world when no one is watching. It's in the choices you make for yourself, the way you honor your time, and the standards you quietly uphold in your daily life. There's a quiet power in routine, in how you care for your body and your mind. You may not broadcast your habits to anyone, but the results show. Your skin glows not because of a single expensive product, but because you nurture yourself from within. Your posture is graceful not just because you want to look good, but because you respect your physical vessel. You get enough sleep, you hydrate, you nourish yourself with food that gives you life, and these small decisions accumulate, creating a radiance that feels effortless but speaks volumes. This self-care isn't vanity, it's stewardship. It reflects that you view yourself as worthy of care, worthy of effort, worthy of discipline. And this relationship with yourself quietly teaches others how to treat you. When a woman is gentle with herself, but also clear with herself, when she can forgive her own mistakes but not excuse laziness, that paradox of softness and discipline becomes irresistible. Hi, Val, you men notice this instinctively, even if they can't articulate it. They feel it when they look at you, the woman who seems to glow. Often isn't the one obsessed with image, but the one devoted to tending to herself from the inside out. And that glow pulls people in. Then there's your relationship to desire itself. A truly attractive woman allows herself to want, not in a grasping, desperate way, but in a mature, sovereign way. She knows her desires are not shameful, not too much, not unreasonable. She's not embarrassed to say what she likes, what she needs, what she dreams of, and this openness to her own longings gives her an emotional aliveness that is palpable. Whether it's in romance, in career, or in the simplest pleasures, like savoring a glass of wine or taking a slow evening walk, this woman is deeply attuned to what brings her joy and is unapologetic about pursuing it, and in doing so, she creates a magnetic field around herself because desire is contagious. When you allow yourself to feel deeply, to want openly, you awaken others to their own capacity for desire too. But this openness to desire is balanced by restraint. A deeply attractive woman is selective about what and whom she gives her energy to. She understands that just because she wants something doesn't mean she must chase it. She knows how to hold desire without letting it rule her. That grace, feeling fully but acting wisely, reveals an emotional sophistication that is rare and captivating. You might find that this emotional sophistication shows up even in how you manage conflict. When others argue or become reactive, you stay composed. You listen carefully before you speak. You weigh your words knowing they have weight. You don't gossip. You don't tear others down to elevate yourself. Instead, you choose integrity even when it would be easier to be petty. This discipline of speech and emotion makes you trustworthy, and trustworthiness is profoundly attractive, especially for men seeking lasting partnership. In a dating landscape filled with shallow connections and mixed signals, your steadiness and clarity shine like a lighthouse. And it's not just about romantic connections. Your friends, colleagues, and even strangers feel this about you too. There's a groundedness in how you operate, a calm that steadies the room, a respect that you extend to everyone you encounter, from the waiter to the CEO. This universal respect reflects deep self-respect, and people feel it intuitively. You loud, ist or the most emmost on peace forward. They're the ones who move with consistency, with dignity, with grace, regardless of circumstance. Your attractiveness, then, becomes not just a momentary impression, but a lasting imprint. People remember how they felt in your presence, calm, inspired, invited to be more themselves. And that emotional afterglow is more powerful than any first impression. Even the way you leave a room speaks volumes. You don't exit in haste or apology. You close conversations gracefully, offer a smile, a word of gratitude, and you leave space behind you, a space that people long to fill with your return. This grace in departure suggests that you know your value, that you aren't afraid of absence, and that you trust the bonds you've created. You don't cling, and that makes others want to reach for you all the more. All of this, the daily self-care, the relationship to desire, the emotional restraint, the dignity in conflict, and the grace in departure together form an unshakable kind of beauty. Not a beauty that fades with age or fashion, but a beauty that deepens over time. You're not performing attractiveness, you're embodying it. You're living as a woman who knows her worth, who trusts her feelings but doesn't allow them to overwhelm her choices, who cares deeply but chooses wisely where her care flows. This is why men speak of certain women with awe and reverence long after they've parted ways. Because the impression you leave is not simply about the curve of your body or the shine of your hair. It's about the feeling of your presence, the emotional landscape you create, and the example you set in how you care for yourself and others. There's a final truth about attraction that very few talk about, but it's perhaps the most important of all. You are most attractive when you live in alignment with yourself. Not the self that others project onto you, not the self you think you should be, but the self you actually are, messy, evolving, textured, and whole. It means you don't hide your imperfections, but you don't advertise them either, you integrate them. You move through life with a gentle honesty that allows people to feel safe around you because they sense you are at peace with your humanity. There's no performance of perfection here. Instead, there's grace in your incompleteness, and that grace creates a profound invitation to others. You're telling the world, I am real, I am whole as I am, and there's space here for connection without pretense. This energy doesn't come from external validation. It comes from self-trust, from having walked through pain and learned not to close your heart, from knowing your insecurities but not being ruled by them, from choosing authenticity over art, even when it costs you. That authenticity radiates. It shows up in your laughter when you don't hold back, in your tears when you don't apologize for feeling, and in your silences when you choose not to explain yourself. High-value men and emotionally mature people of all kinds recognize this depth instantly. It feels safe. It feels rare, it feels beautiful. Even the way you dream contributes to your attractiveness. When you speak of your plans for the future, whether they're small or grand, you speak from a place of possibility, not from a place of desperation. You hold your desires lightly but reverently. This quiet ambition makes you magnetic, not because you're hustling for attention, but because you're moving toward your life with purpose. And let's talk about your relationship with intimacy itself, how you honor closeness while maintaining your independence. You don't rush connection, you don't force chemistry. You understand that real intimacy takes time, patience, and presence. When you're with someone, you allow them to unfold slowly, just as you unfold slowly too. You don't overwhelm with stories or overshare in search of closeness. You allow silence, curiosity, and shared experience to do their work. This ability to hold back while remaining open is a subtle but unmistakable signal of emotional maturity. And it makes you so attractive because it suggests that you are not desperate to fill emptiness with just anyone's presence. You are waiting for the right resonance, for a connection that feels mutual and respectful and deep. Even your stillness holds magnetism. When you sit quietly at a table, when you gaze out a window lost in thought, when you walk alone with an air of peaceful solitude, this kind of self-containment is striking. It sends a message: you are comfortable in your own company, and that comfort makes your company all the more desirable. And your kindness, the real kind, not performative niceness, is perhaps one of your greatest signs of attractiveness. The way you remember people's names, the way you look people in the eye when they speak, the way you offer small gestures of consideration without expecting recognition. This kindness reveals a woman who is present, awake, and grounded. People remember how you made them feel, and that feeling lingers far longer than any physical impression. That's why in today's world, especially in dating cultures across the USA where superficiality can seem rampant, this quiet depth, this steady authenticity, this graceful presence is what truly makes a woman stand out. You may not always feel hot or attractive in the conventional sense. There will be days when your reflection feels ordinary or when you doubt your impact. But trust this, your energy speaks even when you're unaware of it. Your presence lingers even when you think you've gone unnoticed. You are attractive in ways that are timeless because you live from the inside out. That's the kind of beauty that doesn't fade. It evolves, deepens, matures. It's not threatened by passing trends or fleeting youth. It's rooted in something much stronger, your relationship with yourself. So as you continue moving through life, through dating, through love, through friendship, through work, remember this. Your attractiveness isn't something you put on, it's something you embody. Every day that you live with grace, curiosity, humor, compassion, and dignity, you are reinforcing your own magnetism. This isn't about becoming someone else or chasing an idea. It's about returning to yourself more fully, honoring your rhythms, your wisdom, your sensuality, your strength, your softness. And when you live this way, people can't help but be drawn to you, not because you demand their attention, but because you command respect simply by being who you are. Take a deep breath and feel that truth settle into your bones. You are enough. You are magnetic. You are already more attractive than you realize. You don't have to earn it, prove it, or chase it. Just live it.